to this week's edition of Can We Talk? I'm your host for today, Peter Gambles, and with me is Stephen Sanders, running for mayor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, tell us why you're running.
Well, it all started for me very young, running around in this very community here in Yellow House Canyon, being around my uncle, Reverend Avery, and the late Reverend Avery, and just this family out here. I started learning how to be a part of something, being a part of a community, being a part of something that meant something. And so the church was that for me. And so they raised me. I was raised in a church, I ran around and played the drums and did all that stuff and just kept living. My family and I endured some things, some hardships with my brother Jerome when I was 7. And he broke his neck playing high school football. But God continued to bless us and help mold us, taught me how to love someone, taught me how to care for someone. So some big things happened. I'm a product of Lubbock Independent School District, public school. I'm a product of Texas Tech University as of late in December 2021, and just excited about living. I guess my main reason for running is that there's been so many people that paved the way for me to be right here, right now. There's some people who died. There's some people who shed blood, and there's been some tears and some sweat involved. And I always try to make sure I remember that my forefathers created this opportunity for me to be here as a Black African American running for office in the United States of America.
All right, so you're homegrown, homebred, and so this is happening right in your own backyard. So you feel good about being a catalyst for change. What are some of the things, Stephen, that you can tell us that you are standing for on your platform?
One of my number one priorities is to lower our crime rate. Our crime rate is something that has continued to climb over the years, and I think we are aware of it now as a city, but we're kind of behind on action. And so I want to make sure we get that in place. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background as to why I feel like we have a crime issue. The crime issue stems from the home, back to the basics. We don't have, a lot of times in a lot of situations, parents are single moms or single dads, and they're raising their children on their own by themselves, and they don't have two parents in the home. And I believe that when the father is not in the home, it's harder. And I commend every woman that does that alone. That you're an amazing person. But I feel like that's one of the reasons why people have crime issues. Now, what details from that? When the parent is at work all the time to provide for the kid, this parent can be at home and help this kid read, study, and do all the things that they need to do. So what do we have to do as a community? We have to step in those places for those young people, create opportunities. There's some people doing some things right now in our community that gives them an opportunity to make a good decision. So we need to teach people how to read. I believe that our youth, because they don't know how to read between the 3rd and the 4th grade level, it creates what some people say that they create jails based upon those 3rd and 4th grade reading levels. I think that what we really need to look at is that 85% of the kids who have issues that commit crimes as juveniles, they can't read. They're illiterate. And that's what we got to focus on. 60% of the people who are incarcerated, which is a lot of Black people, they are in there because they cannot read. They're illiterate. And so they have to make decisions. They gotta provide for their families. They gotta do whatever they do. So they turn to the streets and they hustle. And these are things that contribute to that crime. So I want to get into the community. I want to mentor. I want us to put on our tennis shoes. I want us to take the suits off and get out in the community, work with these people who are already working so hard. My Brother's Keepers, LaCarl Richardson and his groups, all 100 Black Men, all these groups who are working. We just need more laborers. We just need more people to get involved in their community, to care. And we can start eliminating crime before it even ever happened. So I want to break the curse of not being able to read and going to jail. We want to break that curse. We're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to claim that. That's not who we are. As Black people, we're going to be educated. We're going to go to school. We're going to raise our kids to do the right thing. And that's the message that I have. That's just a part of the message. Another thing I wanted to do was launch a campaign called We Read. And what this would do is I would work with the city to work with the Postal Service so that we could deliver books to each kid, parents who signed up for this program. We would deliver those books to their homes so that they could begin to read and they can begin to learn. Because if we don't stimulate them or ask them or get them to read, they won't read. Because electronics is what control our kids now, the digital babysitter. And that's what's taking us down. And so these kids see all this crime on these video games. So guess what? If they can't read, they can play the game. They're seeing that information. So they're just downloading all of that stuff. We got to break that stuff. We absolutely have a need for more officers on the street. That won't solve the problem of crime, but it will give us some coverage so that we have people there on the scene quicker and faster to help maybe defuse situations that may arise. The other thing that I wanted to do is a program that I wanted to launch called Drop the Gun. And what happens is these kids will get committed to a program that will allow mentors who have already been in trouble before for these same crimes, for crimes with guns and drugs. They will become mentors. They will go through a process to become mentors, and they will actually reach out to these at-risk youth that we're talking about right now, and begin to put good seeds into their lives and pour into their lives the way we need to. And that's another program I really want to do. 18-month program. I think if he or she can make it through that program, we'll have an opportunity to minister to them. They can know who Christ is. They can start learning how to do trade schools and making a way for themselves to be productive in society. So that's one of the main things that I really want to do with crime, and there's a lot of moving parts. But guess what? That's my job. I want to figure out a way. I want to find the way that works. I have to work with Chief Mitchell. I want to do that, whatever it takes. If Chief is watching this, Chief, I want to work with you. Let's get together.
So from cradle to classroom, then to fight crime, and then for the mentorship from those who have already experienced maybe incarceration, to fight literacy, you're tying everything up. And I can see the connection, honestly, in terms of what you're saying. And even the strategies, they seem logical. How do you plan on putting players in place to start working on those goals if you were to become mayor?
We have a lot of people already working. But one of the ways I think we can really implore people to be a part of this movement is to get people who care about this type of movement. So I want to reach out to the churches and the pastors and the evangelicals to figure out a way to talk to their communities and their church families about finding people who want to help with these type of things, and we can get them in place with, of course, the people that we already have in place, like some of the people I mentioned, Reggie Dow, some of those people, they're ready to work. Ladette Butler, they're ready to work. These people are already working. We just need to the community has got to get behind these people.
And so are you talking about then having city funds available to help undergird these efforts?
Well, there's a lot of different ways that we can do that. There are philanthropic funds that we can use, that we can get to cover that won't put debt on our community and on our city. That's what a lot of people don't realize, is that I want to do all the things, but I want to find a way to do it that's not going to make your taxes go up, that's not going to make it hard on you when it's time to go get groceries, when it's time to go to the gas pump. So it's not only about the vision, it's about the way you're going to get there. And that's one thing that I like about Lubbock. As a mayor, I would make a plan, figure out what we want to do, work with the council, figure out what it is we want to do. We give that to the city manager, and he gives us a plan as to how to get there. And we're going to do that, but we're going to make sure that we do it in a reasonable way and not use a lot of funding from the city. But we will do what we can. I'll bring that before the city, and I believe if we present it to them the correct way, we can get a lot of help from the city.
So as many of us know that this is not your first time running, so you have a little experience under your belt. What makes this election different? In the two elections before, I'll admit that I was trying to make sure that people knew who I was instead of focusing on who the people are. And I love these people so much in Lubbock, it's not even funny. And my goal, and I feel like God gave me the vision and the mission to help lead and draw our people together so that we can be a stronger community. I don't want the interstate to be the divider between East Lubbock and the rest of Lubbock. I don't want there to be racial tensions in our community. I don't want the people who are in positions of leadership to overlook the people who are underserved and forgotten about, like people in East Lubbock and North Lubbock. But I also want to make sure I can help the people in South and West Lubbock as well. They have things that they need to do, and we want to make sure we look at that. And that's the thing about being mayor. You have to take a step back and look at it from a broad perspective. But I believe that this is our chance to move together, to move forward together. It doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, what school you went to, whether you got a degree or not, none of that matters anymore. What matters the most is that we're together, and we've got to do that. There shouldn't be anybody with another message other than us moving forward together, because obviously we're better together. So I really believe in that. So this election is different in how what you see maybe that you have the right focus and
I do. I feel like that's definitely something that is better this time around. And I believe that because of the criticism and the constructive criticism, rather, that I've received from the community and the city, I've become a better candidate. And so I like to thank the community, and just take a second right there to just thank the community for helping me be a better candidate, a better person. And I think it was Thomas Jefferson that said, love your enemies because your enemies tell you your faults. And I had to learn that just because people were saying, hey man, you need to do that different, that didn't mean that they didn't like me or that they weren't supporting me. They just wanted me to be better. So I had to take a step back from who I was and let God really work through me and be a vessel in this race.
so you have the confidence to move forward. So tell us, are you going to be speaking anywhere this week? Let us know what your schedule is so others can keep up with you.
Yes, it's going to be a busy week this week. Tomorrow I'll be on KYFO, the conservative radio at between 8:30 and 11:30, and then that evening I'll be at the RNH speaking at the candidate forum there on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'll be speaking at another forum for the foundation for the, another event. And then Thursday I'll be at 2 other places. So it's a busy week. If you check my Facebook page, you'll see everything. I'll be there, and I'm going to be everywhere. I've gotten so many calls, and people are really wanting me to come out so they can hear my message. And I really appreciate that. You know, whether you vote for me or not, just allowing me to come and share my message with you and share my vision with you is great, and I appreciate it.
So our current mayor won't be running again, so do you think that you have maybe a better chance this time of winning?
You know, I haven't really put a lot of thought into that, just because of the simple fact that I'm really focused on trying to make sure I get the message out about us as a city, and not and not. I don't want things to be about me. I want it to be about the city. I want people to see our city. So that's why I'm out everywhere, you know, trying to make sure I'm getting pictures and videos so that people who are thinking about being involved in the community can get to see kind of what it's like. It's so liberating, and it's a great feeling to be a part of the community. Just like you were telling me, you love being a part of your community and serving and being a part of change, and that's really what I want. I think it's time. I think it'd be good for Lubbock to have an African American mayor. We've never had one before, and I think that it's a good time. I have the right focus. I love everybody, but I think young black men need to see a young black mayor. They need to see me in this light, and I want to do that. I'm committed to that.
And so if you would also be committed to being part of the change, no matter what the election results are, how do you plan on continuing to be part of the change, no matter what?
I'm going to continue to bug Ladette Butler, and I'm going to continue to bug Reggie Dow, and just continue to do the things that I do to make sure that I'm involved. Phyllis Gann, I'm going to be bugging you too, you know. All of these people who are working already, Bill Stubblefield, Pastor Sean, that's my cousin, so I'm definitely going to bug him. But the work is there for me, and I realized that. I posted that yesterday, that I realize now that this is really not, you know, this is bigger than the race for me. I have a future, you know, working in this community and doing a lot of things, but this is just one little step of experience, and I feel like I'll be able to help other young black candidates who will come behind me and be able to help guide them on the right direction, where to go, how to do it right, so that we can have more respect when we come to the table.
Well, we love your energy, we love your tenacity, and we certainly love your focus. Well, Lubbock, this is Stephen Sanders, and he needs your vote.
Thank you.